Thanks for staying with us. It's important to provide affordable and reliable power to help sustain businesses in Nigeria. That's the message from the country manager for the International Finance Corporation's Nigeria office, Emmy Esenlora, at the U.S.-Nigeria Investment Summit organized by the Embassy of Nigeria in the United States. Mrs. Esenlora believes that there is still a lot to be done to improve the ease of doing business in the country.
There's been a lot of progress made in opening up the energy sector in Nigeria with the privatization program that happened in 2013. We saw quite a bit of local investment coming into the sector. But a lot more needs to be done. And the reason why the power sector is so important for us is because we see very clearly that if you can unlock power in Nigeria, you can provide affordable and reliable power to Nigerian entrepreneurs, it will unlock the private sector in Nigeria. What we've seen is that some companies spend 40 to 50% of their operating costs on self-generated power. This is not sustainable. This is not going to allow the private sector to take their extremely important role in driving economic growth in the country. So for us, the power sector is critical. Again, we see that this is, for us, we're spending a lot of time and energy in this space, and we do think there's more work that can be done, but we're very pleased to see that there's quite a bit of effort and focus on the part of government to work with development institutions, to work with the private sector, to try and tackle the problem. And if I were to name one big problem in Nigeria today, I think it is the power sector. And again, I think we're at a moment in time when we're at a cusp, really, where I think things can actually change, and hopefully in the near future we'll see improved service delivery going forward. The most recent macroeconomic downturn in Nigeria has really accentuated the role that the oil sector continues to play in the Nigerian economy. Nigeria is a mono economy from many respects. And it is very gratifying to see the government put together a strategy, a plan, a program to try and actively diversify away from the oil sector. For us, it's critical. So this economic growth and recovery plan that was launched last year, we think is a good way to capture the opportunity to really move the economy away from dependence on oil. And we will be, as an institution, as the World Bank Group, working with the government to really support that agenda. But it will be difficult. It won't be easy. With a young and growing population, the need for job creation is only going to become much more challenging and much more important in the years ahead. What we'll need to have is a very diverse and vibrant economy to absorb all the very anxious job seekers that Nigeria is producing, millions of them on an annual basis. So for us to keep this front of mind, how do we make sure that we put our energy behind sectors that can actually create jobs at scale, good jobs at scale? So we think that industrialization is a key area for creating jobs in Nigeria and across Africa. And in recent years, we've been supporting projects that we think also support the industrialization agenda for the country, such as Dangote's fertilizer project, Indorama Port, and many others. There are other opportunities, again, in manufacturing and trade. There are a number of them, and we see them and are excited about the opportunity. The services sector also is an important area of growth, and we think that deserves a lot of focus. When you look at, for example, the expansion of mobile telephony across Nigeria, this has created many new opportunities for inclusive businesses and financial services. Mobile network operators in the mobile money space, we think, can actually help drive that a bit more in terms of financial inclusion. So again, we look at the mobile money space, the mobile operator space, and we think this is an opportunity to get to a place where Nigeria can even leapfrog the objective of getting to 80% of Nigerians being financially included by 2020. We can even do better than that if we are aggressive and assertive about the opportunity. Again, across Africa, we see a very strong need to really focus on the young population. And I think it's important in the conversation that you have today to really keep the youth of Nigeria front of mind, because frankly, the agenda, the program, the opportunities that you're talking about today really must land well with them. They must be able to deliver on the expectations of our young people. So again, we want to focus on, for us as an institution, focus on the area of policy and regulation as the key driver of economic development and prosperity in Nigeria. And I think in the conversation that you're having today, really focusing on where you can see policy levers that can actually make a difference in terms of attracting additional investment in Nigeria. We do think that if Nigeria gets the regulatory framework right, that private investors will flow into the country. There'll be no limit to the number of investors that will come into Nigeria. And again, it's worth really congratulating and acknowledging the government for its efforts in allowing the country to move up on the doing business ranking. It was a Herculean effort. For those of us that have been in Nigeria and watched it firsthand, it was a Herculean effort on the part of those that were involved, and it really does deserve quite a bit of recognition. There was a lot of hard work that went into it, but that was just the first step. A lot more needs to be done, and I know that there are a number of people who are making sure that the country and the institutions who are involved in that can really stay the course going forward.
Sudan has been hit by fuel scarcity caused by the government's difficulty in importing the product due to a foreign currency crisis. Sudan, which was once an exporter of oil, was forced to begin importing it after the South seceded in 2011, taking with it 3/4 of what had been the country's oil output and its main source of foreign currency. The Sudanese pound has dropped to 35 to the dollar from 33 pounds earlier this week. Traders expect the Sudanese pound to weaken further in the coming days, where prices have risen since the pound plummeted to record lows on the black market in recent months, prompting the central bank to make 2 steep devaluations since the start of the year. Now let's see how oil prices are performing now. They are stable today, below more than 3-year highs reached the previous session, as rising U.S. fuel inventories and production dragged on an otherwise bullish market. Brent crude oil futures stands at $74.02 per barrel, and that's up 16 cents from their last close. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures are up 14 cents at $67.84 per barrel. Analysts say that oil market slump that started in 2014 has now ended and is turning into a sustained price rally, and that's due to supply disruptions and also strong demand, especially in Asia. And that's where we end today's program. Thank you for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.